And guess who's here? This guy doesn't need an introduction.
Hello. Gosh. Got my 7-Up. I'm just going to answer a few questions and did I say that? Answer a few questions. I'm just going to move things around here. How you doing? All right. How did you know? It's the first time I've been to a thing like this, so probably the last time, so I don't know. Well, you know. Have you been to the shows? Last night? Well, you know, I think they're the best things we've done. And you think about 20-odd years we've been making music, and we're still enjoying making music, which in a way is kind of bizarre, you know, it's still going, you know, and somebody who asked this question. I want to see them. So, do you feel you're on a mission? Who asked that? Oh, there you are. Well, actually, we're all on a mission. That's the thing. We're all on a mission. I think that's in one of the songs. Real Love. When I'm singing Real Love, I kind of really remember why I wrote, or not why I write lyrics, but what makes the lyrics happen. Because about maybe 20 years ago, I just let go of trying to figure out how to write. I just wrote. So when I write, generally lyrics, I just put them down. It just kind of flies in there. There it is. Okay. Activate this mission to be on the same timeline. Real love is real love isn't physical. It's a spiritual entity. And to activate that spiritual entity is to be on the mission, to believe in being. So that's what, when you ask, I'm on a mission, we are the mission. We're all collectively, not just here, but the guys in there's some guys in the back, wheeling room service, They're on a mission, Same sort of thing. But, most people are very spiritual anyway. They just keep forgetting it, or they don't want to show it for being put down. Because you put down as a child at school for being very spiritual. When you start in your early years, the idea of... What happens, I think, at school is things get knocked out of you for some reason. When you go to school, you're this innocent being. You just want to learn. You know the song Hearts? It's like, love me, teach me, know me. But it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in school. Because you're bunched together as a bunch of people. And all you're trying to do is figure out why you're there and why you've been sent there. By your parents when you're about 4. You're sent to school. Because they got to get on with whatever they got to get on with. Sorry. The symbol on the Elias album, who asked that question? Hi there. Oh yeah, name's there, Laura. I can't read, my eyes are going. It's all this painting, what I'm painting? I'm doing that painting, and then I started inking the painting in. That's when my eyes started to go. It's kind of bizarre, because my mum used to wear glasses. Anyway, the idea of Elias, actually Elias, I haven't really, when I recorded Elias, it's based on ancient knowledge, and during interviews, especially with Ed Sharkey. I can't remember why. I always open up to Ed Sharkey. You know, he's this DJ in Philadelphia. And I just generally, hello, you. Yeah, hello. She's a beautiful, beautiful girl. So I open up to Ed Sharkey. I mean, it's usually after a show and I've had a couple of tequilas or something, you know. And they asked me questions about why did I do Elias, what does it mean? But I put a lot of mystery into the writing of Elias, the actual story. And if you know anything about ancient knowledge, it is once said there were 4 tribes only on this planet: Negro, Asian, Oriental, and Nordic, of which we all come from. We all have a little bit of everything in us. And we were tribal people. I started to say this on tour now. But the idea is you have a circle, a triangle, and a square. These are your basic fundamental shapes that we work everything from. Everything comes from circle, triangle, square. And I decided just to stick them together. And that was the design. There are many things you can read into it. The actual world, or oneness, triangle, the 3. You know, you have the God, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. The Spirit, Holy Ghost. I always got frightened about Holy Ghost. Some weird sort of apparition. No, it's your spiritual self. It's all you anyway. You know, they don't tell you this stuff at school. It's terrible. So that was the idea. The square really was the 4 tribes. And in the story, Nagrunium is Negro, Assatranius Asian, Oractanius or Oriental, Nordrinius, Negrunium, Nordrinius. So it was like a little, I didn't want to just spell it out. I thought if anybody wants to know about what I've learned about, they can find it out. And it was a couple of books by Vera Stanley Alder. One is called The Initiation of Life and The Finding of the Third Eye. You know, the finding of the third eye, again, is real love. Activate this mission is here. It's an energy. It's dormant in a lot of people, but it's still there. It's awakenable, as in the song "Awaken." It's an awakenable gland, the pineal gland. You know this? Yeah. You all know this? It doesn't matter if you don't know it, because I didn't know about it. You know, but you have the pineal and the pituitary gland. These are glands that we used to use some thousands of years ago. And now we're starting to relearn how easy it is to contact the oneness of being, the oneness we call God. Yeah, that's all it is. It's no big thing. I just wish they'd teach it at school instead of some of the garbage you learn, you know. We'll get into that. But there's a song on the new Deseo album which I've done, and the middle of the first song is lies, lies, wise guys living in a history of lies, lies. You know, it's the whole idea that we live basically in a history of lies. You know, if you look at why, you know, why was there this war? Why was there that war? You know, you never told the truth. It's so silly. That's why we need, like, every time I sing, what is it? No, it's coming. Don't worry. I'm thinking about it. I've got to get it right because I wrote the damn lyric, you know. So. Political ends as sad remains will die. Every time I sing that, I know it's going to happen. I mean, if you watch the media and the way media is so right on Clinton's every move, not just Clinton, every major leader, every major politician will become under scrutiny because CNN is our consciousness. You know, you don't. It is. You'd be very surprised. You know, CNN, the way we watch CNN, you know, and what all the information we get out of CNN is very, very. Oh gosh, I can explain it. How can I explain it? If this is the whole world, CNN and all the information you're getting from it is about as big as my fist. Because the world is full of incredible stuff, you know, and CNN is just the rubbish. And we're centering in on that in order to get rid of that. And that's the end of whatever, politics and things. Can we expect re-releases of your early productions in the future? I am having a hard time replacing a worn-out collection. Marla. Okay, I don't know. You know, making music, you know, as soon as you've made it, it's out of your hands. It's in the, you know, it's like, I was in Japan about, gosh, 8 years ago now, I think. I was 6 years ago. And somebody gave me a copy of Elias on CD. I'd never seen it, you know. It's like, hey, sign this. And I went, wow, that's Elias. On CD is amazing. So the girl, she got me a copy, and I listened to it. And it was the first time I'd listened to Elias for maybe then about 8 years. Because it's not something that I do. I'm too busy thinking about the next piece of music that I'm going to write. So old music, sometimes it comes out. I don't know if they're going to release Song of Seven on CD. It might be. See? There you go. What? So don't ask me, okay? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Animation will come out. Would you like to receive some free religious literature from... No. Sorry, Victoria. Where are you, Victoria? Victoria. Well, she doesn't want to say hello now. Oh, sorry. Oh, there you are. I got very confused about the amount of literature there is about religions. There is only one real religion, and that's the one that's within. That's the only thing I've got to say of them. But it's a very nice question. Yeah. But there's a lot of things you can find out. Because I used to think, you know, the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus was a great guy, right? Jesus was really so powerful. So we had all these people on that mountain, and they said, how are you going to get fed, you know? And I kept thinking, 3 loaves, 2 fishes, or 2 loaves, 3 fishes, whatever it was, how did he feed all those people? And I thought, wait a minute, most of those people knew they were going to go and see Jesus on the mountain, right? And they're going to go for the afternoon, so you can reckon a third of them at least brought a picnic. So, seriously. So, all he said was like, share and share alike, you know, so that's what he did. And they shared it out. That's probably how they all got fed. But he put it into 3 loaves, 2 fishes, and, you know, I can't imagine. But you just got to figure it out a lot, you know, it's like, things like that. Peter Banks, are you related to Tony Banks? Peter's not here. Is he coming? Yeah, that's okay. Well, Peace Symphony, yeah, I really wish Peace Symphony would be released as someday. I think we did a recording for Thai. We were in Thailand, me and Kitaro, and we did a great recording, or a great show. I don't know whether it was a great recording, but it was recorded for television in Thailand. And it's kind of amazing that it was 2 years ago now, to do a show with Kitaro. The Peace Symphony was always at the back of my mind to work with Kitaro more, but it hasn't worked out that way. So I just think it would be nice for it to come out eventually, and who knows. What's that? Who's that? Bob, sorry. Hi, Bob. Yeah, it was good fun playing it, because what we used to do, I don't know if too many of you saw the shows, but we did, I was very fortunate about, now it's 8 years ago, I met Long Walker, who is this Native American medicine man who I've become friends with over the years. And I recorded him doing some chanting, and that's what we used in the middle of that piece. But it was amazing to watch the audience reaction, especially in Thailand. We're doing this whole drumming thing, and then I'd say, basically what I wanted to do was to put a speaker up in the air and then project the voice from the speaker so people would look up and give it that vision of something coming from another world. And then, it really worked sometimes, so I was always pleased to do that piece. Yeah, I enjoyed it very much. Will you tour solo sometime? Who said that? Solo, yes. I'm hopefully touring this winter. I'm trying to with Deseo, and the two projects that are coming through this year that I'm excited about are Deseo, because it's very different, and I'll revisit some of the countries that I went to in South America and hopefully do some gigs in America with Deseo. And it's just working with Latino musicians that are very, very warm and very caring about music. They don't think about music like we do above the equator, about this theory that above the equator or below the equator they live for music, and above the equator they live off it. It's kind of strange, It's just the way people are down there. They just sort of live for music. It's kind of. So I've started to become south of the equator all the time. So it's only a question of your own self anyway. Heard an adventure, la 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 la. This is the last album tour. I didn't say that. I said it's the last album tour of this kind. Because I tend to. Sorry, Jeff. Hi, Jeff. Yes, I think it's the last time that I want to do it this way. And I really feel like an expanding energy, especially working with Trevor for the first time closely. I feel that there's more to our imagination than just a group getting together, making a record, hoping it sells so that we can get tickets to concerts and things. You know what the climate's like at the moment. We're not selling a lot of tickets at the gigs like we used to. But I don't care that much because I know it's just an evolving syndrome. We're not hip. We're not fashionable. We never have been. But I don't care. I think we're going to record a live album from the tour, because it is a great tour for me anyway. Negative press in America. Yeah. I think you say it, it's just one guy who maybe just had a bad day, Because he doesn't see, he doesn't hear, and he doesn't feel what's going on. He just thinks he has to knock it or be very cryptic or very artistically cryptic or pull it apart. And it's just one guy who just isn't too happy. I always find that. So I let go of critics about 15 years ago, 1970, just after Topographic. That's when it was. Yeah, you can imagine, you spend, I suppose it was a year of my life going crazy, creating a piece of music that even I didn't know what it was all about. I was just driven. I was driven like a lunatic. And, obviously the guys in the band thought I'd lost it and hated me and everything. It didn't matter, because I knew it was like this thing I had to do. Topographic Oceans, it's like, if I die after this, I'll be happy, It's like, I used to think that, you finish the album, it's done. I'm in a plane traveling to New York. If it goes down, I don't care. But then I just think, well, what about all the other people on the plane? It's a terrible thing. They don't care about, silly things. It comes back, it's really strange, because I know the book, Yes, What Does It Mean? I don't know if you've seen that book. It's a really great book. It tells Are they there? Are they there? It really, to me, it tells it like it is. I was saying before, they're very flattering about me, so I love it. You know? But no, it really tells it like it is. It really says exactly the way I was thinking. It's kind of bizarre how you got right on it, you know. It's right. But somebody had to get to that point where they would realize that there was a beautiful golden thread between all the work we've done. You know, you can't discount the way the band has continued somehow. It's a lot to do with business, keeping alive, eating, being able to make some money to keep going, but there's something, a common thread of music and lyrical content that drives you crazy. It makes it work, you know. I remember listening for the first time to Endless Dream, and I'd just come back from England. And I knew Trevor was going to go for it, because like, come on, Trevor, we've got to do the big piece. Yeah, John, just got to finish the other side. Trevor, come on. I'd be up there every week saying, Trevor, do the big piece, please. You know, it won't work without the big piece. And I know the record company was just saying, give us the record, give us the hit record, what's the matter with you? Forget the big piece, you know. Just no idea what really it is to make a Yes album. So eventually when I came back from London and I sat there and heard the big piece for the first time put together, because I'd sang on it and I knew what he was going to stick together, you know, but when I heard it and he'd done these vocals with Chris, and I honestly started, I felt so great. I really did. I felt amazed. What is your fondest recollection of late 60s music scene that Yes was part of? I can't remember so far back. If I think about it, I was very fortunate to meet Jimi Hendrix just before I started working with Chris. And I met him in Germany, and he was such a gentle soul. This guy who was wild on stage, like an amazing, obviously amazing guitar player, but just a wild person on stage. And off stage, he was very quiet and gentle, and we sat and talked in Germany when I was living there, recuperating from a lot of drugs. Still recuperating. Because like anything, it's not bad for you as long as you take care of it, you know. Anyway, I was in a club called the Ronnie Scott's Club. It's a jazz club. And Rassan Roland Kirk was playing. Now, Rassan Roland Kirk, one of the greatest saxophone players you've ever heard, you know. And he used to play 2 saxes at the same time, even 3. It was just unbelievable. And he taught me a lot about music in an interview that I saw. And I had to go and see him and just to say hello and meet him and thank him for introducing me to the world of music. Because music, as he said, is in the trees, it's in the air, it's in the wind. You can hear music in the city. You know, I know it sounds crazy, I record cities. Because there's a music there. It's all the cars and the honking of the horns and things like that. Anyway, he was performing that night, and he was blind, but a very, very amazing character. And Jimi Hendrix walks in, and with his guitar, it's about 11 o'clock, and he gets up on stage and creates all the incredible electronic guitar playing Jimi Hendrix can do. They just sort of performed for an hour without even talking to each other. And I learned what real jazz is, and jazz is chance music, when things just happen spontaneously. And it was just an amazing experience to see Hendrix and Roland Kirk together. It was never recorded, but who cares? You know, it's just amazing. Freddie! Hi, Freddie. Freddie Ramos. He works with me in Deseo. Hey! Your check is in the post. We're making it light. Or it says to John Anderson, or Trevor Rabin, or Chris Squire. Yeah, tour selection songs on tour. Who wrote that one? Hi, we're both. Okay, songs on tour. It's always, I suppose, suppose so. It's eventually down to, I suppose, just playing the songs. We tend to do probably about 4 hours of songs, and then we sort of take the ones that aren't working out. Sometimes they work, and we just save them for later, but once we lock in to the songs in the show, that's when you can lock into how you move, what you're doing. Everything becomes very coordinated. At least you know what you're doing. And you know what you're going to do, but it's put him in the right position. That's the difficult one, because the first 2 or 3 shows, I know if you people have been to the first 2 or 3 shows, we're always trying to figure out why did we do that song there? It just didn't work. So you got to put it later in the show or earlier in the show. But you know, it's like you eventually figure it out. But once you're locked in, that's the way I've always thought about Yes and touring, is to make sure we all know what we're playing, and then we just got to refine it and refine it every night. Every time we go on stage, we're still refining to the last gig. Maybe the last gig we don't care anymore. We just do it, you know. Just do it and have a good time. But we're still refining and refining. And some nights is very hard because the equipment isn't as working as well. The first half of last night's show, I'm using these headphones in your little earphones instead of monitors, and they're really incredible. But last night there was something wrong with them. It's like singing cotton wool in my ears. The first half of the show was tough, you know. Anyway, gosh, I can't read this writing. I can't even read it. Rudolph Steiner said. Did Rudolph Steiner said in 1924? Who wrote that? What did he say? I can't read it. I'm trying my best. Oh, you can't remember.
Rudolf Steiner, at the end of the century, which is now,
Oh yeah.
it would be important for 2 different spiritual streams to recognize and meet each other. This aspect seems to sound through some of your lyrics. Is this correct? And if so, what
Yeah, thank you. I think working towards the end of the century is an amazing event for all of us, you know, the fact that we are getting into the 21st century. You start thinking what's going to happen. Now, I have a few theories about this. I know it's kind of bizarre. Go back to CNN, right? CNN is really encapsulating everything that's going on in our known world. And that is only a small part of our known world. I think the next really groovy thing that's going to happen on CNN is going to be a UFO experience. Because you can imagine how many times they're going to show it. Yeah, that's it. There you go. Now, the last time I said that to anybody, really, was a couple of years ago. I was living in San Clemente in a motel room. I can't believe I was in number 9 with the most beautiful view. It was so small, that room, but I had my keyboards, my bed, and the kitchen. I was happy. You know? But the view was amazing of San Clemente Pier and everything. It's called the Beachcomber. If you're ever down San Clemente Way, please stop at the Beachcomber Hotel. It's a beautiful place. And I was talking to this guy who actually came and started talking to me in this bar because I had a Castaneda book sticking out of my pocket. And he started talking away, and we started talking about UFO experiences and things, as you do. And I said, definitely CNN. And that night, at 9 o'clock on CNN, was that UFO experience that not many people caught. And what it was an overview of I think it was Chicago airport. And this little white light came in and shut off like that. I don't know if anybody saw it, but I thought, gosh, I was nearly right. It was only a small experience, you know. But now we're watching this amazing, is it Saturn that's happening? Jupiter, nearly right. Jupiter, that's amazing. So I think that's going to affect our consciousness. You know, the second coming is the raising of our consciousness. Yes. That's all it is. the raising of our consciousness. Now this started in 1987, as far as we're concerned, in the harmonic convergence, when the Earth just moved a little bit. Because if the Earth sort of coughs, we have an earthquake. Can you imagine if it sneezed? You know, but when it sighs, it just moves like that, and it raises our consciousness. And then the Berlin Wall went down, and then Russia got rid of its communism problems. And the next change, a major change, I believe, is China. I went to China last year. I'm going again this year and next year. It's the most beautiful place, and that's why I talk about on stage about we were Chinese once. Think about it very carefully, that we could have been African, we could have been Chinese, we could have been Aborigine, because we are part of a whole evolving motion. So the idea of raising our consciousness to a more spiritual level isn't really too much to do with us. It's going to happen anyway. We just got to follow through. The song Real Love pertains to that, you know, that activate, again, this mission to be on the same timeline, get a ticket, which is like, tune in and turn on. I think Timothy Leary said that, didn't he? We are very interested in your theatrical projects, Chagall. Forever and ever, yeah. So am I. Chagall will happen. I believe it to be happening. I'm hoping to do a workshop next spring of Chagall in Portugal. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that that's going to work out. I tended to believe that if you project that you're going to be there, that you'll get there. But I've been projecting to be in China doing a project now for 3 years. I'm still not there yet. But it's so close, you know. I've written all the music to do a Chinese work with this orchestra that was built around, as you may know, a tomb that was found 12 years ago, and they found all these instruments from 2,500 years ago, and the Chinese government built an orchestra and a dance troupe around them. They're called the Golden Bells of China, and I've written this piece of music for them, and I hope to go and perform it with them probably next April. So theatrically, that's where I think Yes can go if it's directed properly. It can go into a more theatrical stance, but we shall see. Who actually asked that question? David Letterman. Oh, hi there. There you are. Okay. Yeah, theatre is where I really am very excited to go. The band is going to, who asked about going to South America, the band. Hi there. Yeah, we're going to be down there in September. Playing, thankfully we're playing Chile, where I was last year. I'm sorry that we're not playing Peru, because the people are just so beautiful wherever you go. It's amazing. And it's only down to business and promoters who can't afford the band because of the amount of equipment we take, that the band can't go to other places. I really wish the band could go further afield. That's why I'm doing these things, these little trips to Thailand with Kitaro. These are connections to get to A to B, to you know, to let people. And there are people all over who really love Yes. It's amazing. You go to Indonesia and you go to China. Not too many people know about Yes in China, but they will. But the idea of traveling, you know. Close to the Edge, Karen. Hi, Karen. Yeah, the song Close to the Edge really comes from reading Hermann Hesse. So Siddhartha, there's a Little Buddha, just go and see the movie, you know, Little Buddha. They've actually made a movie. There was an old movie, Siddhartha, before, but now it's that handsome dude. I forgot his name. Keanu Reeves, yeah. Well, you know, he plays Siddhartha in the movie. The idea was the search for self-realization, close to the edge of self-realization. I should have called it that. It would have made life a lot easier. But you know, it's always delicate to start talking about religious things. You know, especially when topographic, the revealing should have just been the revealing. But I got sort of hip and swingy, and I thought, the revealing science of God. Dangerous statement. Really, very dangerous, because I didn't know what the hell, you know. And now I know more, shall we say. I know a lot more, and I will know more tomorrow, you know. So that's the way it is. Close to the edge. I really enjoyed doing that, especially live. It was funny when we first recorded it, because we actually were still learning about longer pieces of music. Was, you know, because I come from, like, I started playing piano when I was 26. I really didn't start till I was late in my life to try and learn about music. But we were sticking close to the edge together with sellotape. Believe me, it was like 2 minutes, 1 minute, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 20 seconds, you know. So the end of Close to the Edge, it was, if you ever looked at the actual tape of Close to the Edge, the master, it had so many little pieces of sellotape. It was amazing. But then, because we'd recorded it in bits, shall we say, to perform it, it was like we were playing all day. we actually did a concert with Elton John, Mahavishnu Orchestra, which was an amazing experience, Mahavishnu Orchestra. And we went on stage and played Close to the Edge, and it felt forever, because it was the first time we performed it in front of an audience. So you can imagine when you perform with an audience, you're actually performing with an audience when you're on stage. They didn't know this music. It had just been released. It was hardly in the shops, and we were playing it, so it felt slow to them, a long piece of music, and it was like endless. But within 6 months, we started playing it more and more and more, and it became a natural event, and that's when it really started to take on that ascension. Because when you make music that relates to a spiritual ideal, you're looking for that first and foremost on stage, and then you hope the audience are going to get it, because if we don't get it on stage, they're not going to get it. It's like Awaken. You know, Awaken, when we did it with the 8-piece band, to me was unbelievable, because we were going somewhere. I was floating, you know? As techno junkies, what the heck does that mean? Oh yeah, the new physical modeling synthesizer, Jimmy. Aha. There's the new one that I play something on stage which you would be very interested in. It's called the HOTS MIDI translator. That's me at the back doing all those sounds that you hear going around. And that's the new mode of technology where you're actually working hand in hand with computer. Somebody asked me, you know, when they send out the garb for the album, they call it I don't know what they call it, when they send it to the radio stations, and then you go for an interview, they say, in your garb stuff, what they write about you, it says you talk about computer and this new album, Talk, and how we worked hand in hand. And I said, well, think about it, you know, and I can tell you this now, everything in this room comes from under the ground. Everything. This is sand, isn't it? It's amazing. Everything comes from under the ground, ourselves included physically, you know. So if you look at a computer, that's as much from under the ground as everything else. So if we're all from under the ground and everything's from under the ground, then everything is God. So computer is God. So work hand in hand with the computer, because God is there too. Do you understand? So we're very excited about modern technology and the virtual realities and things like that. You know, very exciting, because laser really, we started using laser in the early 70s, is really our gift. It's a gift from another dimension. And I think I've mentioned this 1 or 2 times, that laser comes from the fairy kingdom. And the fairy kingdom is real, as I'm sitting here, believe it. The fairy kingdom is the most amazing place to discover. And I've spent time in Hawaii and had some amazing events happen to me because of my openness to know that that is the truth. and that there are more things to life than we can ever imagine. Our children, little kids there, they see fairies up until the age of 2. They're part of the angel energy already, and it's somehow we take them into school and we knock it out of them by showing them fairy tales, which aren't really all about fairies. They're just our understanding of fairy tales, or the adults, the adults. What do they know? Please. Sorry about that. Now and again I'm going to get carried away. Is the relayer, entails time, high vibration. Who asked that question? Carl. Yeah. It's a hard question because vibration go on. REM, sleep. What does that mean actually? Sorry? Oh yeah, really, high vibration. No, I'm saying vibrations are, you can call it that. Again, I can't really get into, one thing I'll say about Christ. Jesus was Christ, Krishna was Christ, Mohammed was Christ, Buddha was Christ. There's always been a Christ energy on the planet. There is one still. There is one within us all. It's amazing. That's simple. But relayer, I used to talk about, relayer is a, when I worked on, like when I work on albums, when I work on music, I get a strange feeling at a certain point in time. And I nearly always try to explain that before Heart of the Sunrise, because the Heart of the Sunrise is that feeling that I get. It's a sort of very hard, it's impossible to explain, but I get that feeling inside of completeness when we finish a piece of music and it rings true to my chakra energy, my consciousness. And that feeling that I get is that relayer system, that Christ system. And it's something that you cannot put your finger on because we are so, we're intelligent enough to understand what we're doing here. I mean, when we try to understand what God and all that is, forget it. Our consciousness is not capable of understanding that. And so you shouldn't try to understand that. Just live it and be it. Thank you. And a Merry Christmas. What is happening with Power of Silence? That's what I want to know. Yeah. Power of Silence was a project, as you know, I did, or may know. I recorded last year for Geffen Records, and they gave me the money to do it, which I like. Always need the money to do stuff, because money is energy in paper form, so you need it. Just give me tons of it, please. I deserve it. But we all deserve it. I sing that in Talk, Endless Dream. We deserving, gonna bring it back again. It's all that kind of stuff. We deserve to know more than what's going on. We deserve tons of stuff. Tell us more about the 10-year solo journey. Anne? Hi. Yeah, I'm very interested now. Obviously, Deseo is the first part of a project that I'm dreaming. So you're trying to create dreams, to create them into reality, and that's what life is all about anyway. So I want to go to China, then I want to go to India, Tibet, and learn their music and work with them. Africa, Europe, certain parts of Europe and stuff like that. And indigenous music is always enchanting. It just takes time. So, I just know it's a 10-year span where I'd love to be able to do all these things, of course. That's basically what I'm saying. Indian music is unbelievable. Pakistan, there's a guy called Ali Khan. I know that Peter Gabriel worked with him. Unbelievable singing. Unbelievable. And I really love Ethiopian pop music. It's amazing. It's kind of funky. It's really off on another rhythmic level. But these are just things that pop into my circumference, so I just get the record, play it, and if it hits me, I'll cherish it and learn from it, That's the way it goes. Yeah, I still have my 10-string guitar, Doug. I played it last night. Thank goodness. It's a fun. Every time I get the guitar, I write songs on it. It's so quick. It's, you know, I have this theory, again, another theory, that instruments, you know, they're part of all that is, you know. So if you're tender with them and loving with them, they'll perform. They'll do it. Like a piano. If, you know, I used to talk to my piano constantly when I didn't have time. I'd open the door and put my head around and say, "I'm sorry, I can't play you today." Piano, piano. And the next time I went to the piano, it'd just open up and I'd play, you know. Life is wonderful like that. Will you collaborate with Steve on orchestration? What's that mean? Sorry, no. Mike. Who's Mike? Hi. Yeah, I'm sure me and Steve will get together and do something. I'm not sure what you said about talks orchestration. Oh, topographic. Yeah, I'm very interested in reinvestigating topographic for band and orchestra. It's something that I would hope so. Yeah. I suppose like anything, it's timing. You know, the idea came to me now 2 years ago that I wanted to work with ABWH doing an acoustic album with an orchestra, and that got taken away from me, strangely as things do happen, and they finished up doing that orchestral album that I sang on, and I was emotionally a bit confused as to why it came out that way, because it's like you set something going and you hope that they understand that if I hadn't have walked into their lives at that moment, it wouldn't have happened, because it's what I wanted to do. But it gets taken away from you, and you hope that they know what they're doing. And when you listen to the final thing, you think, that's not the way I would have done it, because I would have given it more whatever, you know. That's why I did this album just coming out now. It's called Change We Must, which is an album with the London Chamber Orchestra. I'm working with a really classy bunch of people. Is the best thing in the world. You work with people that just, you give them the music, 10 minutes later you record it. It's amazing when you're working with really talented people and form an orchestra like that. So I'm very, very proud of Change We Must as an album, and I think it's going to reach a lot of more people than I've ever reached before. Apart from Yes, you know, so I'm very excited about that coming out. And I'll probably do some concerts with the orchestras around, whoever will have me, you know, saying, I'll sing for you at the Hollywood Bowl, please, you know, it's like, you know, it's like, we're trying to do a concert, the Albert Hall, around the 14th of October to promote the album, and then you hope, well, Carnegie Hall, please, I want a Carnegie Hall. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, I think I've talked about spirituality and stuff, and the meaning of awaken. I think we've gone through all that, haven't we? Must have done. Okay. Parasilence. Yeah. Okay. Deseo. Again, I think I've explained really everything. Why you proceed to do different things is because you have this driving force to want to appreciate other cultures and to be able to work with other cultures. Because like the first thing that was spoken to me by a record company executive was, they don't like gringos singing Latin American. And I thought, well, I'm not a gringo. Am I a gringo? And I thought, no, I'm just a singer, and you know, I like singing, and I'll learn Spanish. And with the help of Freddie and Eduardo, who became great friends, I learned to sing in Spanish and Portuguese, and felt that if I can go to Peru because of that, you know, that's really what it's all about, being able to travel and being able to touch a lot of people. Because the first thing people would say when I got to Lima was, yes, you know. I said, well, they're not with me, but, you know. I'll sing a couple of songs, you know, and I sang "And You and I, All Good People" and things like that. And that's basically what Deseo is about. It's like using music as a passport to get to as many people in this life as I can anyway. And I hope you enjoy it. I wouldn't worry too much about not knowing how to speak Spanish. I mean, the music just dances along anyway, and there's a little bit of English here and there, so that's all I can say about it. It's been a great pleasure being here, and thank you.
Thank you very much, John, for coming out today.
So he's supposed to be on around. He said he'd come up.
Yeah, first time around the house.
Well, thanks for the...
They have champagne?
They never called me. If I'd eat him, I'd have to call him. Now I don't want to. Please work with her.
Oh, anything else you eat? One? Special Yestival. Hello. Hey, you can say that tonight if you'd like. This is a great artist that did this. Oh, that's